Management forgot. Sorry.
Good evening and welcome to Undaunted, bringing into the news untold stories. I am Star Smart. Let's begin. Today marks the peak of human rights violation exhibited by La Republic du Cameroon in complicity with neighboring Nigeria. La Republic du Cameroon maneuvered and got Sisiku Ayuk Tabe and co-arrogated by the Nigerian Intelligence Service and ferried to La Republic du Cameroon in total violation of all international relation laws and conventions. It was on this day in 2018 that the then leader of Ambazonia, Sisiku Ayuk Tabe, in a meeting with others in Nigeria in total violation of human rights, were arrested without any warrant. Just a few days ago, we brought to you the disharmony in the arm of La Republic du Cameroon's government as the ex-girlfriend of FM No PT, who was allowed release on bail in court, but the executive part of La Republic du Cameroon did not allow her to be actually bailed. When we talk of a banana republic, at least a picture comes to mind, and it's really unfortunate. More reason the peoples of Ambazonia continue to strive for freedom from the annexationist and genocidal regime. And what can stop a determined people from winning? Well, you know the answer. We have so many reports of your interest in tonight's Undaunted, and we'll get into it just after the prime headlines.
Right here are the prime headlines for today, with the story of failed conspiracy against Ambazonians caged by La Republic du Cameroon in the Condengi. Now, an estimated number of 10 houses has been reduced to ashes following a fire outbreak in the Bobende Fako County. Now, a curfew has been imposed as Paul Biya claims his troops are crushing rebellion. Also today, a drunk La Republic du Cameroon colonial soldier opens fire on two teenage boys in Womb local government area. Sadly, today marks the 5th anniversary of the abduction of Sisiko Ayuk and Co. Colonial La Republic du Cameroon soldiers must take bribe to be transferred out of what to an Amberland is a story that will interest you today. Also today, pothole has been reportedly as it kills a bike rider at Mai Tu Unquain. Now, this is as a result of abandoned bad road. And in sports, Cape Verde renames National Stadium in honor of Pele. Now, let's get the news in detail.
The media greatly influences society. They inform people about what is happening. It permeates people's lives by creating their own criteria and opinions. In this way, the media moves the masses, creating different social movements.
For over 60 years, the people of Ambazonia were deprived of such privileges. The privilege to enhance their own criteria and opinion. They have suffered cultural genocide for 6 long decades, but not in this age and not with Undaunted ABC Amba News on board.
You must understand that wars are fought and won in the media. The speed of the revolution and Ambazonia's quest for freedom cannot be explained without highlighting the diligent use of the media.
Franco-Cameroon colonizers, among other strategic moves, weaponized the media against Ambazonia for so long, and they continue to do so even today. The question would be, how much do the oppressed people of Ambazonia need to counter the media rage?
Indeed, how much more is required to stop the genocide? The carnage in Ambazonia didn't start today. In 1961, 1972, 1984, 1992, Ambazonians were slaughtered in huge numbers and help was not forthcoming. Why? Because the oppressor was the piper in the media.
The good news is we have what it takes to dictate the pace.
Right now, ABC Amba is taking advantage of the wonders of multimedia aggressively
to inform the misinformed and disinformed with Undaunted and other revolutionary programs bringing into the news untold stories.
Most importantly, to win the media war by taking ABC Amba TV into every multimedia platform.
In a word, where the importance of storytelling can never be overemphasized, Ambazonians has to tell her own story, not the other way round.
And like we say it always, Ambazonia must narrate her story accurately. We can do this together, you know, right? You are just a click away. Visit our website at www.abcambatv.com, and the steps are quite simple.
With just a click on the website, you can become a club member with so many benefits.
You can also make a one-time donation, advertise and showcase your goods and services at the marketplace on the website.
That was easy, right? You're welcome on board.
Thank you for opting team.
Now, Amazonians are born to win and excel in every front. The way brave Ambazonians abducted by La Republic du Cameroon in their homeland ferry to the colonial maximum security prison is carrying on is attracting enemies already. Now, these patriotic Ambazonians are the owners of all the businesses in this detention center. This success is causing some Franco fronts in Kondengi to start plotting how to rob the Ambazonians of their riches. Well, thanks to the charismatic nature of Ambazonians, they have been able to manage the conspiracies against them with wit. All this is captured in a letter written by St. Penterans from Colonial Kondengi. Now, why this conspiracy against the blessed people of Ambazonia? Well, it is still a new year. I welcome you again to 2023, fellow Ambazonians. How are you doing, sir?
Very well, Onyi, and how very well too. The entire letter by Pen Terrence from the Colonial Kandegi prison says, I want to sincerely thank everyone who made our time to come out to solve the dicey situation where we as a people found ourselves in yesterday, Monday, 2nd January 2023. He says over 300 thieves and murderers came out yesterday with sticks to attack us. I call it us because it wasn't about what happened in Q3, but it was now about les Ambazonians, Sivos, no Montrecourt. It was fast becoming a gang fight between them and us. We would have it had we not exercised diplomacy, tact, and high sense of maturity. Says for some time now, some evil forces within these prison walls have been doing all within their power to instigate the other detainees to riot against us, and we've stood tall against such manipulations. We have been tempted to the extreme, but we have resisted. They do this for one reason: jealousy. He says they are aware that we will soon leave this place because we are not thieves and bandits like they are. We are a special people destined for great things. They want to tie us down with them, and we must show maturity. 2, they are not happy seeing us prosper where they thought we will beg and die. We have transformed the prison into what they never thought imagine can happen. Just the singular fact that we own all the businesses in eating them up, and they want to rob us up of our hard work and resilience. 2023 is a year of our liberation, and there are so many great things in store for us. So much is being done to get us out of here, and we can't afford to fall into any temptations. We must exercise caution and restraint as we go about our daily lives.
Well, he goes on to say, brothers and sisters, our time here is very short. Even the Bible says that the darkest hour is just before dawn. We are at our darkest hour. We will be tested amongst, but we should think twice and thrice before taking any action. We can always concert as a people in order to get the possible best solution out of any chaos. He says, for those who chose to stay away or watch from afar while an angry mob of more than 300 thieves tears our brothers apart, remember just one thing: our mantra has always been all for one, one for all. He ends up by saying thank you. Now, this is, of course, signed by St. Penteres, Yaoundé Central Prison. He signed this on January 3rd, 2023.
And moving on to another story for tonight. Today marks the 5th anniversary, the peak of human rights violation exhibited by La République du Cameroon in complicity with neighboring Nigeria. La République du Cameroon maneuvered and got Sisiku Ayuk Tabe et al., arrogated by the Nigerian Intelligence Service, and referred to La République du Cameroon in total violation of all international relation laws and conventions. It was on this day in 2018 that the then leader of Ambazonia, Sisiku Julius Ayuk Tabe, in a meeting with others in Nigeria in total violation of human rights, they were arrested without any warrant. Now the question is, why such an arbitrary arrest if it is not a conspiracy?
Now, on January 5th, 2018, the Nigerian DSS service arrested an unknown hotel in Nigeria. The 11 abducted were then Ambazonia leader Sisiku Ayuk Tabe and co. After being nabbed for 5 days, they were kept in Communicado for 5 days before being handed to La République du Cameroon in violation of international laws. Now, after numerous postponements of the trial by the La République du Cameroon Colonial Military Court, they were given a biased judgment with a life sentence. a trial that their lawyers declared was quick and biased. Well, he goes on to say, we went to court at 9 a.m. and left at 6 a.m. this morning. Barrister Ayuktang Ndeb Ngoro Tufo told DW. Now, he goes on to say the attitude of the judge does not only confirm his bias and personal interest in sentencing the accused persons, but equally reveals the presumed outcome of their proceedings, he added. Now, this is just one of the numerous voices condemning the colonial judge sentence.
All right, moving on. A fire outbreak occurred in Victoria. The fire, according to reports reaching Undaunted, broke out on the night of Monday, January 2nd, 2022, leaving dozens of families homeless and stranded. Undaunted gathers that the cause of the fire outbreak is yet to be determined. It took several hours for firefighters to contain the flames, and no human life was endangered. Victoria Local Government Area Fako County is the Amazonian oil city and headquarters of the agro-industrial giant, the Cameroon Development Corporation (CDC).
Now, since the onslaught of the Ambazonian Liberation War, Victoria Local Government Area has remained calm but equally affected owing to the heavy La Republic to Cameroon colonial military presence. However, the fuel-producing factory, abbreviated in their enemy language Sonara, had equally suffered infernos within these war times, suspected to be orchestrated by French Cameroon agents aimed at apportioning blame on the liberation fighters. At present time, the cause of this fire is still to be established.
Well, we could say, this year is still starting nice, because apart from the Awin people of Amazonia commencing the year with development and a few other interesting reports, Thibaut Naj also made a tweet, one of prayers for a few African countries whom he thought needed it.
Well, in Thibaut Naj's tweet, he says, for 2023, a few of my prayers, a real inclusive dialogue in Ethiopia to bring national peace and reconciliation. Somaliland, justice of Southern Cameroonians, the start of a genuine transition to democracy in Ambazonia and in Sudan. God can do anything.
Now, while in the editorial I'm going to bring to you shortly of Professor Martin Ayim talking on the focus for 2023 to be recognition, this tweet right here is already fronting that motion.
Well, yes, indeed. Thibaut Naj saying justice for Southern Cameroonians goes a long way to show, at least he and so many others sees their injustices done to the people of Southern Cameroon's Amazonia. It's indeed a promising year, I tell you.
You can say that, sure. And now, well, more interestingly, Amazonian restoration forces starting this year are not relenting. They are starting even more resilient as they impose a curfew because Paul Biya claims his troops are in control of most of the areas. Colonial La Republic du Cameroon military says it deployed scores of troops to Oko, Kumbo, and Jakeri local government areas Monday, January 2nd, 2022, following the sealing of markets by the Amazonian Restoration Forces in retaliation to, as colonial genocidal dictator Biya boasted, his troops were winning. A victim made Undaunted to understand that the situation in Kumbo for the past days had been very, very precarious, and that there has been serious gunfiring between the Amba and the state forces, and today being Monday. And the ghost town had been reinforced and the streets are dry. This is what the victim had to say.
Well, Undaunted gathered that there was no movement of vehicles and people. Everybody is indoors. Well, the victim explained that battles between the Colonial La Republic du Cameroon troops and Ambazonia liberation fighters intensified after Colonial La Republic du Cameroon President Paul Biya's New Year Eve speech, during which he lied that many Ambazonia liberation fighters have been crushed and the threat from the freedom fighters have been significantly reduced.
Now, moving on, one Colonial La Republic du Cameroon gendarme neutralized in the Mendo local government area. It was journey's end on Wednesday, January 4th, 2023, for Colonial La Republic du Cameroon gendarme Nvaenva Ivan, whose lifeless body was discovered in a pool of blood at a place called Chombo. near below Foncha in Bamenda local government area. A source made it known to Undaunted that he fell in an ambush laid by the Ambazonian restoration fighters and gave up the ghost after sustaining bullets shot at him.
Well, our shots are that the remains of the gendarme Enver were taken to the mortuary of the Bamenda Regional Hospital. Gendarme Enver Yuvan registration number with the Colonial La Republique du Cameroon military is 31295.
Oh well, two teenagers were shot and a drunk La Republique du Cameroon colonial soldier opened fire on two boys in Womb local government area. A colonial La Republique du Cameroon genocidal soldier said to be in a state of drunkenness and whose picture Undaunted could not lay hands on at press time is reported to have shot two boys in the leg in Womb local government area. Mentioned County. The two teenagers whose name Undaunted goes as Noel and Nelson were aged 16 and 17 respectively.
Well, the story Undaunted goes that these two innocent teenagers were reportedly apprehended on the first day of January 2023 by another bloodthirsty Colonial La Republique du Cameroon genocider, gendarme by the name Amba, who suspected them without any findings as being Amazonia liberation fighters. While the Colonial La Republique du Cameroon gendarme Undaunted further learned, made them sit on the ground before telling them that they are suspicious. Well, a source reviewed, adding that the teenagers didn't have time to defend themselves when the man in uniform used his firearm to shoot them in the legs. Well, according to the Colonial La Republique du Cameroon officers' colleagues, the incident was a result of the drunken state of the gendarme.
Well, the Colonial La Republique du Cameroon soldiers are a bloodthirsty genocidal lot, usually trigger-happy and have been accused most often than not for merciless attacks on innocent, vulnerable Amazonian groups like children, even women, including pregnant ones and the aged, fear to confront the valiant and dreaded Amazonian restoration forces. Well, the boys are currently receiving medical attention at the Womb District Hospital in Menchun County.
We the people, ABC Amba TV, Ambazonia Broadcasting Corporation. The voice of the voiceless, the voice of Ambazonia, connecting the world from Africa. With untold stories, Africa's best. We the people, ABC Amba TV, Ambazonia Broadcasting Corporation. The voice of the voiceless, the voice of Ambazonia, connecting the world from Africa. With untold stories, Africa's best. We the people, ABC Amba TV, Ambazonia.
Well, in another development, Undaunted has gathered from unimpeachable sources that Colonial La Republique du Cameroon security forces complain that their leaders are asking for bribe to take them out of the war zone. Elements of the Colonial La Republique du Cameroon Army, Gendarmerie, and police are complaining that their commanders have abandoned them for weeks at various critical and dangerous mission sites in the war-torn Amba land. Well, according to information Undaunted gathered from internal sources in the north, those among them who were sent on mission in areas like Bafut, Babanki, and Sagba in Mezam County have been abandoned without any food. They are asking for 40,000 francs before a day can come and replace them. Well, we have been here for more than 2 weeks, of which we were supposed to spend only 1 week. One of the abandoned colonial occupier elements complained to our source.
Well, according to our sources, who preferred for anonymity, says at times they are sent on such missions without enough war materials like bullets and others. Quote, it says, those who are involved in such fraudulent act are the Colonial Civil Engineering Corps Commander, the Colonial du Cameroon Special Branch Police Commissioner, and those in charge of missions from the colonial capital, Yaoundé. Our sources that We are really suffering in the hands of these people, sleepless nights, but they're still asking money from us. Some of us have spent Christmas and New Year in the bush. Many of them are of the opinion that they have been abandoned because they are unable to raise any money due to lockdowns and roadblocks in Amba land.
Well, it has always also been the tradition of the La Republic du Cameroon to punish the people of southern Cameroon as far as the road network is concerned. While the Paul Biya-led government has abandoned the rehabilitation and construction of roads in Ambazonia. A pothole on one of the tarred city roads in Bamenda has killed a young commercial motorbike rider at Road Maitu Unkwem local government area. The question is, when will this unholy union with La Republic du Cameroon come to an end, since it's that of youngsters that is on record on a regular basis?
Very critical question. Well, the New Road neighborhood has recorded an accident, sending a dynamic young Amazonian full of energy to an early grave. The young commercial motorbike rider collided with a 70-seater bus in an attempt to maneuver a pothole at the center of the road. The guy, the Undaunted, got the name Livisco, died on the spot as the accident shattered his head. Livisco was transporting vegetables to the Inquen market Wednesday, January 4th, and left the stage at about 7 p.m. local. The mortal remain of Livisco was immediately ferried to his big Babanki village for burial. The New Road area has recorded deadly accidents in the recent past, and is no surprise because of the roads.
Broadcasting Corporation. The voice of the voiceless, the voice of Ambazonia, connecting the world from Africa with untold stories, Africa's best.
And on the African scene, the crisis in the Gulf of Guinea is all about Nigeria. Well, Alec Vines from Chatham House, the Real Institute of International Affairs, told newsmen. Well, according to Reuters, piracy will increase in the Gulf of Guinea as Nigeria prepares for an election next February in order to funnel ransom money into campaign financing. While intelligence experts told a shipping conference in Copenhagen on Tuesday. Well, Rick's Intelligence, which advises private shipping companies and governments on security, said two mother ships belonging to a pirate are currently located just south of Nigeria, and 5 seafarers are known to be held hostage on shore.
Now, the principal protection money system in Nigeria secures funding to political candidates, and because we see an increase in offshore attacks, he said. According to authorities, the island nation in the Gulf of Guinea had a failed coup attempt on November 25th, 2022. That being said, one of the critical questions in 2023 will be whether democracy is consolidated or pushed back further. The key elections to watch out for in Africa are in Nigeria, South Africa, the Democratic Republic of Congo, and Zimbabwe, with violence likely to occur in some of these countries. Africa will also hold state or parliamentary elections in 17 countries in 2023. According to the Economist Intelligence Unit, these elections will significantly impact the continent.
Well, first of all, it remains to be seen whether the coup drama we saw on the continent in 2022 will continue, or whether 2023 will mark a break with these phenomena, especially in light of the recent coup attempt in Sao Tome and Principe. But that's by the way. West Africa and the rest of the continent will be closely following the Nigerian election. Well, all eyes on Nigeria's 2023 election. Nigeria has seen a wave of civic and political engagement by young people ahead of the upcoming presidential election in late February.
Well, however, the lead up to the polls in Africa's most popular has been marred by political violence and unrest. The Nigerian elections are really important because it's one of the largest economies on the continent, and that aside, Nigeria is struggling with security issues too. The election is also
Well, the political atmosphere in the country of over 217 million people is tensed ahead of the February vote. Good thing incumbent President Muhammadu Buhari is not running again for after 2 terms in office, making it an election of change. However, his party, the ruling All Progressive Congress Party, and the largest opposition party, the People's Democratic Party, will be the main contenders, with the man of the youth, Peter Obi, successfully gaining momentum. All right, and right after the break, we will bring you the editorial.
We the people, ABC Amba TV, Ambazonia Broadcasting Corporation. The voice of the voiceless, the voice of Ambazonia, connecting the world from Africa with untold stories, Africa's best.
In our editorial of today, we look at a message from the chair of the Presidential Advisory Council, Professor Martin Ayim, as he talks on the focus for 2023. We must take care of our own in a responsible way. They also want us to succeed with the goal of Boya. This is 2023, and focus is on the recognition of Ambazonia as the 55th nation in Africa. Let coup plotters, federalists, one Cameroonians, or anyone unrolling our narrative. The interim government of Ambazonia is on sound footing. Responding to them or reacting to them should be with wisdom and not give them undue relevance. The people have spoken severally through ghost towns observance, etc., that they support the interim government of Ambazonia. The president, Dr. Samuel Ikome Sako, set the pace for the interim government of Ambazonia in his end-of-year speech. We are in for acceleration towards recognition, and everyone must sacrifice and participate. Please, everyone, let us focus on the goal. This is no more talking time nor distraction time. Some people still want you to start 2023 talking away from the goal. This is how they help La Republic du Cameroon through distractions. The interim government of Ambazonia is doing her best and will continue to do her best under available circumstances as we strive towards recognition of Ambazonia as the 55th nation in Africa. Please bear with us. Others have time to talk and write and call names and distract President into Ambazonia or focus on the goal and La Republic du Cameroon through accelerated home front and diplomatic action. We will be quietly working. We've come to the end of this critical message from Professor Martin Ayim, Chair Presidential Advisory Council, and the end of our editorial for today. Vital. Now, if you want more of such articles, kindly visit our website at www.abcambatv.com for more. Subscribe, become a club member, and a part of this winning strategy. Final payment details on your screen. I am Star Smart reporting for Undaunted, ABC Amba TV.
All right, thank you so much, Star Smart, for that short editorial of today. All right, and in sports, Cape Verde National Stadium is to be renamed after Pele. Well, the country's prime minister has said that the 15,000-seater Estadio Nacional de Capo Verde, located just outside the capital, Praia, will become a Pele Stadium. Well, Gab Ellison has more.
Latest world sports. Football. Cape Verde renames national stadium in honor of Pele. Cape Verde's national stadium is to be renamed after Pele. The country's prime minister has said the 15,000 Estadio Nacional de Cabo Verde, located just outside the capital Praia, will become the Pele Stadium. The news comes after FIFA's president, Gianni Infantino, proposed, while speaking at Pele's memorial service in Brazil, that every country should name a stadium after the footballing legend who died on 29 December, aged 82. As a tribute and recognition to this figure that makes us all great, I manifest the intention of naming our national stadium as Pele Stadium, in an initiative that I believe will be followed by several countries around the world. Ulises Correa E. Silva wrote on Facebook, with the physical disappearance of Edson Arantes de Nascimento, King Pele, who soon became a planetary figure, an icon of the masses, showing that sport has the power to unite the world. It is now our wish to pay tribute to him, added Mr. Silver in a statement that stressed the importance of Pele to Portuguese-speaking countries like Cape Verde. Cape Verde and Brazil have a history and culture that go hand in hand, considering they are two sister countries linked by language and very similar identities. Pele was and always will be a reference in Brazil, in our Portuguese-speaking countries, and in the rest of the world, being an idol that links several generations. Pele is credited with scoring a world record 1,281 goals in 1,363 appearances during a 21-year career, including 77 goals in 92 matches for his country, and was named FIFA's Player of the Century in 2000. At Monday's memorial to Pele in Santos, the city where he played club football, Infantino said that FIFA would be asking every country in the world to name one of their football stadiums with the name of Pele. However, South Africa's Football Association president, Danny Jordan, has since raised concerns that this could cause potential issues with stadium naming rights. Mozambique first to land in Algeria ahead of Total Energies Chan 2022. Mozambique, who were participating in their second Total Energies African Nations Championship, became the first nation to land in Algiers, the capital of Algeria, ahead of the Total Energies African Nations Championship Algeria 2022. Led by former international player Chikenho Konde and now head coach, the Mozambique delegation are now in Algiers in preparation of the event that will kick off on 13th January to 4th February 2023. The Mambas were welcomed on arrival at Algiers Houari Boumediene International Airport by local organizing committee LOC President Rachid Okali, LOC Vice President Yassin Ben Hamza, and Federal Bureau member Hakim Medani. Drawn in Group A, Mozambique will kick off their second participation at the Bariki Stadium against Ethiopia before facing hosts Algeria and former winners Libya. 16 other nations are expected in the coming days in the four host cities of the Algiers, Oran, Constantine, and Annaba. For the first time in history, the final tournament will feature 18 countries from all 6 CAF zones. Tennis. Novak Djokovic into Adelaide International last 8 with win over Quentin Halys. Novak Djokovic earned a hard-fought win against Quentin Halys to move into the quarterfinals of the Adelaide International on Thursday. The Serb rallied back from 5-2 down in the first set and 5-3 in the second to beat the Frenchman 7-6, 7-3, 7-6, 7-5. Djokovic will face Canada's Denis Shapovalov on Friday as he continues his build-up to the Australian Open. Australia's Nick Kyrgios has returned from the second week of the Adelaide tournament with an ankle injury. The 27-year-old also pulled out of last week's United Cup and so will have had limited match time going into the Australian Open, which gets underway on 16th January. The world number 22 could go into the first major tournament, having not played a singles match since an ATP event in Tokyo in October. Meanwhile, Djokovic, who beat Kyrgios in the 2022 Wimbledon final, will be bidding for his 10th Australian Open title in an attempt to equal Rafael Nadal's overall men's Grand Slam record of 22. The former world number is set to miss this season's Indian Wells and the Miami Open after the United States extended its requirement for international visitors to be vaccinated against COVID-19. Djokovic, who was deported prior to the 2022 Australian Open because of his COVID-19 vaccination status, said it is what it is. When asked about the prospect of missing more tournaments, "If it is official, then it is. What can I do? Nothing." The 35-year-old said, "I'm hoping to play, but if I can't go, I can't go." 7-seed Shapovalov, Djokovic's quarterfinal opponent, raced through Thursday's second round Adelaide International tie with a 6-4, 6-3 victory over Russian Roman Safalin. Gab Ellison reporting from Undaunted, ABC Amba News.
All right, thank you so much, Gab Ellison, for that sports report. And with that sports report, we've come to the end of Undaunted tonight. But before we go, let's bring you a recap of our major stories.
We brought to you tonight failed conspiracy against Ambazonians. caged by La Republic du Cameroon in Kondengi, an estimated number of 10 houses being reduced to ashes following a fire outbreak in the Bobende Fako County, and curfew imposed as Paul Biya claims his troops are crushing rebellion. A drunk La Republic du Cameroon's colonial soldier opens fire on two teenage boys in Wum local government area.
Also today, we told you that today marks the 5th anniversary of the abduction of Sisiko Ayub, Tabe and Co. Colonial La Republic du Cameroon soldiers bribed to be transferred out of the war-torn Amberland. We also told you that pothole has killed a bike rider at Maitu Unkwem, and this is a result of a bad road. And in sports, we told you that the Cape Verde Stadium has been renamed in honor of Pele. And that was it for tonight on Undaunted, bringing to the news on Top Story. On behalf of my co-anchor, Stir Smart, and the entire Undaunted crew, we say thank you for tuning in. I am Onyi Okpala.
We'll leave you with ABC Amba TV images. Good night and God bless you.